Hello and welcome to the final round of the Enduro Championship. Apologies for the slightly late start. It's some idiot decided that having the final round on half term, that's the words I'm looking for. This is a great start, isn't it? Can't even think of the word for half term. Excellent. But yeah, it's going to be, I think, an interesting race today. So we have got 2 hours around Bathurst. It's a tough track at the best of times, and we're starting from night, as you can see, and we are going to run all the way through to an early morning. So this should be great. I haven't even logged into Twitch yet. Bear with me just 1 second. I'll leave you with Rainer Athenstadt, who we are on board with right now. I think we are. Maybe 1 second. So, in the rush to get set up, I forgot my main computer that's got all of the details, all of the stats, all of the Twitch chat. So I will get logged in to that now. So if you're online and you've said hello, I apologise. It's not as if this is totally unusual, is it? So okay, so here we go. There we go. Lots of people said hello already. Hi Daz. Hi Peter. Hello Julie. Oh, okay. So, where are we at? Let's have a quick look at the times that we've got on board at the moment. So, right now we have got Tom Venters driving the pseudo Lamborghini with a time of 2 minutes 0.6. That is an insane time already. Although Rainer Athenstadt has got 2 of the fastest sectors, that's interesting. So Rainer in the Big Brain Racing Lamborghini is just, what, 0.4 of a second off Tom at the moment.
Possibly some different. Hey, sorry, I was going to say I was back.
You scared the life out of me. Hello, Matt.
Hey, how's everyone doing? I was just going to say possibly some different aero settings for the top 2 there. One a lot quicker in the middle sector, and the other one a lot quicker in the first and last sector.
You know what? Other than the times, I hadn't actually had a good look, because halfway through I remembered that I hadn't set up a separate laptop, which tells me all about my Twitch stream, even my spreadsheets that I've got ready for today. Yeah, I'm going to blame children, half term, and teachers having long breaks.
Who would allow that?
Well, I would not if I was in charge. Okay, so how has your week been, Matt? You've been looking forward to today?
Yeah, it's been pretty good, thanks. Ready for some good racing tonight.
Yes, yeah, I think it's going to be brilliant. So let's just jump on board with Dan Jones. Oh, now who's Dan racing with? So he's in a pseudo car. Just trying to think who raced the 23 Ferrari. Is that Peter? By any chance? He's called in a he's called in a Bathurst specialist.
Yeah, says he's in there with Peter Ackroyd. So
yeah. So Dan is a long-term member of Pseudo who ditched the game fairly recently and then came back to it, and he's like about a second quicker than he was before. So evidently that's the way to get quick at this game. Just having a quick look down. So we've got Alessandro 0.4 of a second up on his best lap at the moment, with his best lap being 2:02.1. So this should get him just inside the 2:01s. Sorry, Matt, I just rambled off onto a complete sidetrack there, talking about the racing, stupidly enough. You were saying, yeah, you're looking forward to the racing. I think it's going to be very interesting today, because Bathurst, it's not the easiest track to drive around, is it? And some cruel people have done it a night-to-day race.
Who would do such a thing?
Could they be two evil commentators by any chance?
Quite possibly, yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, the sunrise is going to be interesting, to say the least. Sun in your eyes. I believe it says you come over Skyline as well, right, where the sunrise is? Yes,
it is. Yeah, it's as if they've made the track purposely to be as annoying as possible. Now, Matt, I know you like your facts and stuff. Do you know how this track came to be?
I don't actually. I've seen a lot of the old racing it from here where they didn't have any of the barriers or anything as you go up the mountain, but I don't actually know how it came to be.
Well, long ago, before it was a racetrack, it was built purposely to be a pleasure drive. So the Australian country folk would just take their cars, pretty much up the same layout, just tootle up to the top of the mountain, have a look, tootle down again, and then some great flaming nincoms, I think that's an Australian term, decided that racing on it would be good fun, and it was that good, they turned it into a racetrack.
It's often how these things come about.
Yeah, either wars or country drives. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
So there you go, that is literally the extent of my knowledge on Bathurst, other than it's a bloody awesome track, and will punish you with instant death if you get it wrong.
Oh, definitely. Not as much death as there used to be, like I kind of said before I had all the safety barriers and stuff, but...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so the older tracks, you could literally just disappear off the side of the mountain. So I'm just riding on board at the moment with Camuso in the BMW. You'll have seen a lot of him over the last 5 races in the Endurance League. They've been really well supporting of us here. So he's currently good 2 seconds up. Although saying that at his best time, he's currently 2:11. So maybe this is their first flying lap.
Yeah, quite a way off the pace at the minute in that BMW.
Yeah, but picking the pace up, again, this is not the sort of place that you want to kind of come flying out of the box and trying to nail your best time straight away. Well, I certainly can't, Matt. I always tend to take a few laps just to slowly increase the speed until you get to really pushing. How do you find it?
Yeah, pretty similar, really. It's one of them, especially, and that'll be the interesting thing when we get to the driver change as well, is how quickly the second driver can get up to speed, because it can be quite hard to come out cold and just go out and start setting fast lap times.
Yeah, that's right. And every time I've tried that, I've ended up in a wall very quickly. So here we go. So we got the BMW crossed the line a good 3 seconds up, actually, I think. 2.5 on his lap time. So they're picking the pace up. We've
still got quite a few drivers here that haven't set a time yet. So Rhino Sullivan, Nunzio Balzano, and Franco Becagli yet to set a time in this session.
That's right. So we've just got Balzano from the EOS Racing team. He's literally just crossed the line. We tell you what, we might as well have let's have a passenger view of him. Let's just take him around this track while there's not many people going particularly quick. So here we go. So we're flying up is this the front straight? I guess it's called the front straight, even though it's not the start-finish straight. Into a very quick right-hander. Third gear tends to be, I think.
I believe it's called the mountain straight.
Oh, okay. You love your corners. And I love the fact that you love your corners. So this corner, tuck it in nice and tight, get on the gas early, so you got a little flick to the right here. Balls corner, I call this, because you need big balls to keep your foot planted. It's probably not the official title, but maybe it should be. So quick flip left here, left again. You do not want to be going on that grass. And this is Skyline, so this is where you're going to get the sun in your eyes as it comes up. Now it's all downhill from here. A right, a tight left. Ooh! And that is exactly why you need to build up to your fast lap. Well, stick with the car anyway. So now you've got this corner, what probably the most important corner on the circuit. Oh, as he pulls across, because that leads on to the monstrously long back straight, all downhill.
Also known as the Conrad Straight.
The Conrad Straight, indeed. We've got nobody going quicker at the moment. So, who haven't we seen for a little while? Let's go. So we've gone with the McLaren.
Yep.
Here we go.
So just coming down through the S's.
So this corner, this
down into the dipper.
And this is the most awkward corner on the circuit. Never get it right.
It's now flat out all the way down the Conrad Straight.
Let's see whether we can get some helicam action. There we go. It's very dark, so I apologise on Twitch. That's what happens when it's at night, though. So a quick flick to the right. A nice...
Heavy braking, down into the chase.
Indeed. Under Dunlop Bridge, which is here somewhere. There we go. Oh, it's Liquid Moly Bridge now. Still called Dunlop Bridge, though, isn't it? I think.
I believe so, yeah. Round Murray's Corner. And across the line, that moves them up to P7 at the minute, so good. Excuse me, good improvement from them.
We've got Ryan O'Sullivan. We'll jump on board with him. A quarter of a second up, although actually no, they haven't set a time, so I'm not entirely sure how they can be quarter of a second up. But they're still quarter of a second up, so that's good. Right?
Always good to be up on your side.
So Matt, let's talk about the championship. We've had a couple of people withdraw, unfortunately, from the last round, which I think I've got my little spreadsheet here. I had it here.
So I believe that the two title contenders are the 84 car and the 11 car, right? Now
that's right.
The 470 car unfortunately had to withdraw from this last round.
That's correct. So the 84 car, which is the Lamborghini currently being driven by Tom Venters, Darren Jones is the second driver in that car. They need to finish the race. That is literally it. Now there's 11 cars on track. I believe as long as they finish the race, they secure the championship. Obviously we had a couple more cars on the grid for the last race, so that would have meant they had to come 11th or better. But yeah, I think so. I think they've pretty much got it wrapped up. Unfortunate that
good position to be in for them.
It's very good, and particularly going into this race, it's nice, I think, to have that cushion. So we're still with Ronnie O'Sullivan. I remembered, look, in the Big Ray Racing Lamborghini. Coming across the line, looking like maybe a 2 minutes, 2:01 maybe. Oh, just clicked over to the 2:02, so 2:02.1. Pretty decent for a first flying lap.
So it looks like he's crossed the line in time to get another lap. So there were a few errors that I noticed during that first lap. So we'll see if he can clean things up on this next lap and move himself a little bit higher up the grid. I've
just jumped over to Rainer Athenstadt, who is 0.4 of a second up on his time at the moment, which would put him in P2. And so just looked on Twitch, and Damien won't be racing this evening by the looks of it.
No, I think he moved house in the last week or so.
Yes.
Hasn't had time to get everything set back up again, unfortunately. So Ryan running solo tonight, so he'll take that 130-second penalty.
Well, it's a shame, but it's good to get them out on the track. And Rainer Atherstad does indeed hold that time.
Moves himself up to P2 with that. So a very nice 2 minute 0.6 there for P2 on the grid.
So we'll jump on board with Bigali in the can't quite make out the team, unfortunately, the McLaren. Currently in P8, although 0.6 of a second up. Not enough to move them up space, but always good to improve your lap time. So coming down for this fast right kink. Hard on the brakes for the left and right of the chase. That's a good exit. Under Dunlop stroke Liquid Ollie Bridge. And hard on the brakes into the left-hand corner for Murray's corner. 0.6 of a second up still. Yeah, and carries it all the way to the finish. So, let's get some times up. Oh, I can't get the times up.
We've got pole position was a 2 minutes 0.2. So, not quite breaking the 2 minute mark, but...
I'm very disappointed. That's it's a shockingly bad time for Tom. / sarcasm. A 2:02. Matt, what's your lap record here?
I don't think I've quite broken the 2 minute mark either, but somewhere maybe a 2 minute 0.4, 0.5, somewhere around there.
That's a quick lap, Matt. That's pretty impressive. I think mine is a 2:01.2. I've never quite got into the 2 minutes. Okay, right. So I've just got to. For some reason, my timing screen's gone blank.
Want me to take us through the grid once it gets up and running?
Yes, you know what? Yes, because I still need an extra monitor here, so that would be good. Either that or new glasses. I'm going to need to click drive as well, aren't I? There we go. So we have got the championship leaders on pole position. Not a million miles away from P2, and to be fair, P3 I think was fairly close as well. So this could be an interesting race, and all sorts of things can go wrong here, can't they?
Oh, 100%. As well as the success penalties as well, which I'm just applying at the minute.
Okay. Yes, you get stuck into that. So we have got we've got the Dan Jones and Peter Ackeray in P3. That is a cracking result from them. Welcome back, Dan. Good to have you here. We've noticed you're fairly good at qualifying around here. So let me get my spreadsheet up. So P1 and P2 are both P1 and P2 in the championship. So it'll be good to see these guys slugging it out. Pretty much as long as Car 84 Lamborghini finishes the race, they will be crowned championship, but it would be great to see both them and the Lamborghini in the hands of Rainer Atherstad duking it out through these first few laps. Race itself is 2 hours long.
And I think as well, like say, very difficult track and very hard to not make any mistakes over 2 hours. So could be it could even be a surprise winner of this race. Maybe someone who's in the midfield at the minute, if they can keep it clean for the whole 2 hours, and some of the other guys at the front can't. And I think everyone's got a chance tonight, is what I'm trying to say. In a very long-winded and roundabout kind of way.
I agree. And this is, I think, the very reason that Damien's not racing. You know, I have yet to see him finish a race here, and you know how upset he gets when he's not like Mr. Perfect. I think that's why he's checking out. This whole story of him moving house, I think, is just a cover.
See if he has any response to that in the chat.
He probably he plays deaf quite a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What was that? So we won't get a response out of Damien. He'll know we've got his number. he didn't want to give us the satisfaction. Told you chickened out, Matt. What can you do? So we've got 1 minute and 10 seconds until lights out. So we did this last race, Matt. We both had a guess on somebody who was going to do really well, and we both failed really badly from memory. So why not do it again? It can't get worse than last time. Matt, who's your money on?
I mean, I guess I'm going to have to go with the number 11 car, Reina Athenstadt and Morten de Buren, purely based on the race last time in horrendous conditions. They really didn't put a foot wrong and brought home the victory. So
yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, that's where my money's at today.
Nothing to do with them being a big brain racing team at all?
No, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
Okay, all right. I'm going to put my money on car number 182, Lamborghini of Raymond Camps and whoever his teammate may be at the moment.
Let's see, teammate swap, is it?
I don't know. That screen I haven't got up in front of me. Hang on.
Alessandro Murgia.
Yeah.
Is the teammate.
I'm going to put put my my money on them.
Okay. Well, as they go ahead on the formation lap, I'll take us through the grid. So on pole position we have Darren Jones and Tom Venters in the number 84 Pseudo Racing Lamborghini. P2 we have Reina Athenstadt and Morten de Buren in the number 11 Big Brain Racing Lamborghini. P3 we have Peter Akeray and Dan Johnson in the number 23 Pseudo Racing Ferrari. Then in P4 we have Luca Mari and Oscar Miaza in the number 306 EOS Esports Racing Porsche. P5 we have Alessandro Murgia and Raymond Camps in the number 182 Pseudo Racing Lamborghini. P6 is Mark Jones and Diego Cozzolino in the number 37 Pseudo Racing Lamborghini. Then in car 7 we have Ryan O'Sullivan going solo tonight in the Big Brain Racing number 777 Lamborghini. Then in P8 we have Franco Beccagli and Francesco Sala in the number 277. I believe that is, let me get a team for you there because we haven't got one on screen. 277 Bradipo Team Racing. So there you are, the number 277 Bradipo McLaren. P9 we have Paolo Camuso and Davide Baldo in the number 46 Bradipo BMW. P10 we have Adriano Gregorelli and Roberto Barbaro in the number 303 EOS Esports Ferrari. Then in P11 we have Alessio Blieve and Nunzio Balzano in the number 99 EOS Esports Ferrari.
Did you notice the BMW slowed down right in front of the camera just as you called the name? That was really good timing. They're clearly listening to the stream.
Yeah, just, get the screen time. keep the sponsors happy.
Yes. So here we go. We've got everybody coming down the back straight. Just coming up to where are they? Yeah, just heading on to the back straight. I keep forgetting it's such a long lap here. The formation lap takes. What are we on about? 3 minutes at the moment, I think. Certainly, we had plenty of time to get through the field. So well done, Matt, and thank you very much for going through all that again. I will get a bigger screen next time, I promise.
No problem.
So, as hopefully you've joined us for the other races this season, this is the 6th and last round of the inaugural We say inaugural when we don't know if there's another one. Yeah, we're going to call it inaugural anyway. The inaugural Pseudo and Big Brain Racing Enduro Championship. We have had, I think you agree, Matt, some tremendous racing in some very varied conditions.
Yep.
And this, I think, is going to be the crowning glory, as Bathurst always is. And so, yeah, stick with us for the next 2 hours. I'm sure we're going to see lots of spills, lots of skill on show, some interesting lines, some crashes. But I tell you what, it's bound to be an exciting end to the series.
Yep, I'll agree with everything you just said there. I think it's a fitting finale for what's been a pretty good season so far.
Indeed, so here they are coming up to the line. Let's hope for a nice clean start from everybody. And any second.
Green light, green light.
There we go, green light. So Tom Venters has just about kept in front. And
We've got a bit of contact behind there. Looks like everyone got away though.
that's good. That's good. So we've got Rainer Athenstadt tucked nicely behind Tom Venters at the moment on the run up the hill. He's closing the gap, although Tom's covering that inside line by the looks of it. It's a tricky corner, this, isn't it? First lap, particularly at night. You've got cold tyres.
Luca Murray making a move on Dan Johnson there into what is it, quarry corner.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, he nip up the inside. He did indeed. That was great. Oh, we've got incident, I think, at the back of the field. What happened here? So they're coming through into the hairpin uphill. And the Ferrari, I believe, just lost it and collected another car on the way up the hill.
Yep, unfortunate that.
So we'll jump forward again to Rainer Athenstadt in P2. Staying nice and close to Tom Venters at the moment. He's dropped about a second, but that's not unusual. Cold tyres across the mountain. The last thing you want to do is push too hard on that opening lap.
Yeah, and we saw in qualifying as well the different wing levels that these two had. Well, that's what we believed at least. Different wing levels from the sector times that they were giving us. So maybe we'll see Tom pull away in that middle sector, and then Rainer start to close that gap up again in the last sector and first sector.
That's right. Yeah. There's. Can you remember what the difference was in that middle sector, Matt? I can't at all. Okay.
No.
Sorry to put you on the spot. I was hoping you might know, because I certainly didn't. And actually, we've got in P3 the Porsche of Luca Murray. Only, 0.7 of a second behind Rainer at this precise moment. So that Porsche going nicely around here, certainly while he's got some tyres. Cut to a wide shot.
I've been asked for you to show the roof of car 23.
Yeah, well, that would involve me, one, remembering how to get a camera position that I want, and two, having the game to control. At the moment, I'm watching the game through OBS, so that's unfortunately no. It's also probably got something to do with me on the roof, which is another reason why I may not do it.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. that's a picture.
Is it me, by any chance?
It is, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I don't have the technology to be able to see that, so...
Might be able to see it from helicam view later on once the sun comes up.
I'm really looking forward to it. So he's just jumped on board with Mark Jones. Difficult to see at night time, granted, but he's just half a second from Dan Johnson ahead.
Kissed on the wall there.
I think if you don't do a little kiss on the wall, you're not driving hard enough. That's my view. Yeah, escaping. I don't think I've ever finished a race with 0 damage around here. I've finished many races in the pits. But yeah, a couple of seconds here and there, little bump against the wall. I think that's just part of the track. So Mark's dropped back to 1.2 seconds. Again, with the such different parts of this track, ridiculously long straights, very, very tight winding sections, as Matt was saying earlier. Depending on how you set your car up, depends whether you are going to be quick across the mountain or down the hill.
We've got Ryan O'Sullivan now all over the back of Alessandro Murgia as they come up the mountain straight.
Yeah, we just cut to them, so just 0.1 of a second behind at the moment. So Alessandro might want to cover.
Taking place here, but
I think Alessandro needed to cover the inside a little bit more there.
Yeah, I think early in the race, maybe Alessandro, knowing that Ryan was a little bit quicker at this stage, maybe he's been listening to our commentary and knows that Ryan's got a 130-second penalty as well. So
yes, yeah,
not fighting that one too hard there.
No. Maybe you're right there, Matt. Maybe that would be a better option. I would certainly have been hugging the inside line there. Make somebody go around the back. But then again, if you've got somebody quicker than you over the mountain, it can be very distracting. Talking of that, Luca Mauri has got Dan Johnson just half a second behind him coming down the mountain. So we'll see how this turns out. So coming into this really awkward left-hander, downhill, off camber, but very, very important to get the speed on this this back straight.
Well, the other thing, of course, that we haven't really mentioned so far is obviously over the mountain you want as much downforce as possible, but when you're tucked up close behind another car in front and you get that dirty air, it can be a little bit tricky to hit all your braking points and get the car turned in the same way as what it would if you were just doing a hot lap, for example. So that's something that hopefully all of these guys will have practiced as well, so they know what their car's going to do in that dirty air behind the car in front, and there's not any surprises going on going around a corner and the front end just understeering out wide into a wall.
Well, that's actually that's a really valid point, Matt. But you've also got, again, not being able to see the corner, and turning points in this race are pretty much essential, aren't they, to carrying speed. You've got to turn in at exactly the right moment or you're in serious trouble. So yeah, when you're tucked up behind another car, again, you can only be a tenth of a second out and you're in a wall straight away. We've got the Lamborghini in the pits. Sorry, not Lamborghini, the McLaren in the pits.
McLaren, yeah, I think they had a disconnect and they've managed to get back in. So
okay, excellent. Well, glad they're back in. Sorry that they had a disconnect, but unfortunately that's the way online racing can go. Still on board here with Dan Johnson, still putting lots of pressure on, but Luca Mauri there just rubs the wall on the outside. Coming over Skyline. This section's lovely and fast, isn't it? I love driving this section.
Yeah, when you have a car that sticks and you've got the setup made nice and you hook it up through there, it feels good. If one of those things is slightly out, it can be very awkward.
That's right. And Matt, I don't know whether you agree with this. Lots of people, this is one of the tracks that I'm actually relatively quick on, and people kind of are confused as to why I'm quick here and not anywhere else. It's all about just knowing, I think, when you're slightly offline, knowing whether you're in trouble or not really early on, so you can get off the power. And that, I think, makes a fast lap here. Just not making those mistakes, not hitting the wall too much, and just consistency and knowing when you're in trouble and need to touch the brakes.
Yeah, well, and I think for qualifying or for hot lapping, obviously you give it everything and you try and put in that fastest lap time. But like you alluded to there, in a race situation, very important to know as early as possible if you're offline what you've got to do to correct that. And that's something that I always tell people if they're going to be practicing around this track. Put some practice in, purposely going offline in places and seeing how the car reacts and what you have to do to save it from the walls. It's not one of those. It's not a track where there's big run-off areas that if you do run a little bit wide, you just kind of lift out of the throttle and let it run wide. You've got to really understand what your car specifically is going to do in each of these places if you do run a little bit wide, or if you brake a little bit late, or a little bit early even, because that can be as off-putting as braking late sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of understanding how your car is going to react in all these situations, and that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't necessarily practice, and that's the thing that I think is critical for having a good race around this track.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Matt. Yeah, I would totally agree. Experience and track time is everything here. Well, the simple fact is that I think Damien's never beat me on this track. Not because he's slower than me, because he's never finished it. And
Damien did say in chat he has a very difficult relationship with some of the walls here.
I mean, his relationship with the walls has never looked very difficult. He seems to end up there every single time, which doesn't sound difficult at all.
It's just like returning to an abusive relationship, right?
It's pretty much the same as Damien coming on chat whilst not racing. He's clearly going to get abused. It's his own fault. So we've got Dan Johnson still just half a second behind Luca Mari. Dan does look the quicker of the driver. I think is he just biding his time? Is he just thinking, you know what, I'm going to sit here, put pressure on this guy, wait for him to make a mistake? Because it can be very tricky to overtake here. So is this Dan Johnson, the pseudo returnee, playing a smart game? I wonder.
Yeah, potentially, yes. We'll have to wait and see if it does look like Luca Mari's got that Porsche set up in a way that is making it difficult for Dan to get close enough to him on the straights. So maybe Dan carrying a bit more wing on that Ferrari, and Luca opting for a bit of a lower wing setup. But yeah, able to very much stick with him over the mountain section.
So just to give you an update, Tom Ventus is still in P1 with a 4-second gap back to Reina Athenstadt in the Lamborghini, who is a further 4 seconds ahead of this battle here, so ahead of Luca Mari and Dan Johnson. Dan Johnson is 4 seconds ahead of Mark Jones in P5. Ryan O'Sullivan is currently a further 2 seconds back in P6. Alessandro Murgia a further 2.5 seconds back in P7. And then a big jump of 26 seconds back to Gregorelli in the Ferrari. And then rounding out the field, we've got Camuso in the BMW a further 11 seconds back. Believe in the EOS Ferrari just half a second back. Actually, we'll jump to him now. Of the BMW. And then the unfortunate disconnect. But they're back on the track. The McLaren currently in the hands of Big Ali. So that is our 11 drivers. And yeah, here we go. Believe right up on the back bumper of the BMW. Looks like the BMW has got less downforce. He's pulling away even with the slipstream there, or the Ferrari. So that's interesting.
Yeah, interesting that the Ferrari not able to quite get close enough there, even in the slipstream, to be able to make the move into the chase.
No, I think it's quite a quick car as well here, isn't it, Ferrari? I thought.
Yeah, usually on the straights, yeah. Maybe there is a bit of damage on the front of that Ferrari as well, so maybe that's affecting the area, and or wing levels maybe.
Yes, yeah, quite possibly. So we are on board with Camuso's
Good out of whole corner there.
Yeah, we're on the rear wing at the moment, looking back. Not a view we often see, so I thought we'd give this a go.
Just again, not able to quite get close enough to make the move there into quarry. So now there's not really an overtaking opportunity now all the way over the mountain. So he's just going to have to sit in behind and follow him through this next section of corners.
That's right. So that's how close they are. And you're really going to be feeling the effects of dirty air at this stage, aren't you, Matt? This is going to be quite a lot of understeer for the Ferrari.
Oh yeah, big time. And the Ferrari, one of the cars that seems more sensitive to the dirty air as well.
I drive the McLaren, so I know all about that. So down the hill to the skyline, into this tricky left-hander again. So this is the corner that he really needs to have a good exit. It seems pretty good.
Yeah, it looks to have got a good exit there.
But again, the BMW pulling away.
Yeah, I think that damage may be affecting the Ferrari more than anything here.
Yeah, so that's going to make moving forwards in this race very difficult indeed. And that's definitely going to make moving forward difficult. Just having to put the brakes on, I think, a touch more than he was expecting. The BMW slowed down, I think, a little bit more than the Ferrari was going to. Just losing it on the right-hander at the chase.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened there.
So we'll jump back on board with Dan Johnson, who has dropped a touch back from the Porsche of Luca Murray at the moment. Still 1 second in it. Maybe just want to look after the front tyres a touch more, because you all the time you've got that dirty air, you're sliding the car across. You're going to be burning those front tyres up, and front tyres are quite important on this track. So we got we got a comment on the Twitch chat asking me to tell the story of how I almost won at this track, but forgot to put enough fuel in the car. All of my very near league race wins have come at this track, and not once have they ever won. And thankfully, Ray's here in Twitch chat to get me to tell the story of me running out. Literally, I had, I think I ran out of fuel on the penultimate corner, on the penultimate lap, and got nudged across the line eventually to finish, I think, a P5 or something like that, by some kind soul. In fact, I think it was Ray that bumped me across the line. Yeah, very annoying. I think I've been fuel saving for about 10 laps, and ran out 2 corners from the end.
Not ideal.
No, thanks Ray for putting that out there. We won't talk about the time where I killed Mark Jones on the penultimate lap trying to take P1 from him. We'll skim over that one. So have we got any movers or shakers at the moment, Matt? I'm just having a look up at the board.
Looks like Ryan O'Sullivan's been slowly reeling in Mark Jones for P5 and P6. So it was about 1.1 seconds quicker the last lap around. That gap at just about a second now. So yeah, I think still is reeling him in bit by bit. As the great Murray Walker would say, it's one thing to catch, quite another to overtake.
Exactly that. He's tricky customer, Mark Jones, to get past on this track, as I was just alluding to. He can defend his line very well. So they're all in the same machinery. Both Mark Jones ahead of Ryan Sullivan, who we're on board with at the moment, as well as Alessandro Merghi behind. As we've already discussed, setup can make a big difference here. They held it about... Oh! What is it with us going on board with people through the chase that causes them to crash? So, yeah, unfortunate for Ryan Sullivan there, just dropping it on the exit of the chase. Just dropped 1 place to Alessandro Merghi ahead.
Yeah, it can be quite a tricky corner, the left-hander there with the chase, where the rear end of the car gets very light, and if you're not quick enough in preempting it, it can quite easily come round on you.
I have a tendency on that corner to brake a touch early, actually, and get on the gas earlier. Tends to stabilise the rear of the car just a touch. Doesn't really cost you any lap time because you're on the gas quicker. That's my preferred approach anyway, although it still goes horribly wrong sometimes.
Whereas I like to brake as late as possible everywhere that I can.
Given the fact that you're quicker than me around this track, obviously, so clearly my way isn't the best.
Brake bias all the way at the rear, brake as late as you can.
You don't even need brakes. Don't know what you're about.
Exactly. You don't need front brakes, that's for sure. Just throw the anchor out at the back. It'll stop.
Have you seen the iRacing glitch on this track, Matt, where you can not turn for the chase and just head straight into the gravel and then jump the track?
I have seen people are calling it the jump, aren't they?
Yeah. Doesn't work with ACC. I did try it quite a number of times.
No, but I have found a line that you can take and you can just fire it through between the barriers. And if you steer correctly, you can catch it and gather it all up onto the following straight.
This sounds like we need a private session. Racing session, Matt. Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know where your mind went straight away then. So, I tell you what, let's jump. Let's have a watch. P1 going around for a little while. We've not seen them at all in this race.
Just over 10.5 seconds the gap now to between them and P2.
And we are, 20 minutes into this stint, so tyres are still going to be feeling good. Although, it gets quite tiring, it gets tiring but mesmerising around this track, I think.
You can quite easily get suckered into thinking you're in the zone and everything's alright, and then all of a sudden you're in the wall. So really do have to keep that concentration, keep those concentration levels up all the way through the race.
100%, and as we've already discovered, that tiny little lapse in concentration here can end in a big repair time. So what have we got here? Peter in the Twitch chat talking about the time I hit Mark Jones. It's open for debate who hit who there actually, Peter, but thanks for that. He then asks, what are my plans for Saturday? I think he's trying to get me to talk about the fact that I am on Twitch DJing on Saturday. Been invited over to Wales. I think that's what you're talking about, isn't it, Peter? So yes.
Very nice. What kind of music?
I am playing. I play trance music.
Okay.
So yes, I did a set a couple of months ago, I think, on the Real Nick Rowland's Twitch channel, and I've been invited over again for Saturday. Me and Darren Jones are meeting up as well. Actually, he's popping over. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Oh yeah, Peter's confirmed that was what he's asking about. Ray has said it's a shameless plug. Yeah, 100%. I've got a screensaver for it as well when we finish the stream. I haven't. I should have done one actually. Now I said that.
Well, you've got an hour and 37 minutes to make one now.
That's a good call. So we got Ryan O'Sullivan in the pits at the moment. Is that from the spin, or has he had another?
No, I was just looking back on the replay. He's had another off. Where is it? Just coming round McPhillamy Park. Just the corner just before Skyline. Hit the curb a little bit heavy on the inside and shot the car off through the gravel and into the tyre barrier.
Ouch. So did you say that corner was called McPhillamy Park?
McPhillamy.
Okay.
Yeah, McPhillamy Park.
That sounds like a dodgy place to go at night.
Depends what you're after.
Fair point.
Yeah, still stationary in the pits there, so obviously a long repair job there for that car. Hopefully he can get going again. I'm sure he won't be the only person we see with damage and having to get in the pits and repair today. So always still a chance of a good result, even if you do end up a lap or two down.
That's true, and to be fair, he has been taught by Damien, which is probably why he's hit the wall quite so hard. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Oh,
Nice.
I know he's in chat, and I know it's going to wind him up, so I can't not. Sorry, Damien. We love you really, traitor. So out on track. Now we've still got Dan Johnson, 1.4 seconds behind. Luca Murray is moving back up to. In fact, let's jump on board with him right now. He is slowly catching again. Wayne Atherstad. I think he was about 4 seconds behind at the time, wasn't he? He's clawed that back down to 2 now.
Yeah, and what is obviously interesting, that number 11 car has the 15-second success penalty from the last race, so they really need to start pulling away if they want to maintain that position after the pit stop. Otherwise, they're going to have to get it the old-fashioned way by overtaking on track. Because right now, I believe with 15 seconds, it would drop them back down to P5.
That's quite a big drop. Plenty of time to make things up, obviously. But yeah, that is quite a difference. Damien is still indeed in chat, and he said I can't wind him up that easily. He's been a really shitty teammate and hasn't helped him at all. So the joke's on me. Wow, Damien, just wow. Didn't bother turning up for a race, didn't bother helping your teammate. That's shocking behaviour. And so we got a yellow flag for the EOS racing teams, Ferrari, I believe.
Yeah, literally in the middle of the track there at the minute, so everyone trying to take evasive action.
Yeah.
Looks like that steering might be broken on that Ferrari though, because it doesn't seem to be moving very well. That might unfortunately. No, a bit of contact there. Might unfortunately be a return to garage for them if they.
Oh yeah, there's absolutely no steering lock going on there at all, is there? Yeah, I think fair play for wanting to get around, but I think maybe a return to pits would be the right idea here. That car
going again here, but yeah, that is that steering's definitely not doing its job there.
Oh, and looking ahead, we've got Luca Murray now just half a second behind Rainer Atherstad. I think Rainer had a bit of a collision with that Ferrari on his way through, which has brought these two cars right next to each other. So on the run up the hill, fast left. It's basically a hairpin left here. Keep it in nice and tight, get out the power early. So this Porsche really doing well at the moment. Makes you a lot quicker, doesn't it, Matt? As soon as you can see that car in front of you, and you can see the gap coming ever so slightly smaller, it makes you a lot quicker.
Yeah, definitely. I've just been sticking on board with Alessio Blieg there in that number 99 EOS car, and they have now just made it back to the pits. Just to update you.
Well done for getting it back. I don't know the type penalty for warping back to the pits, but
usually around about 2.5-3 minutes, somewhere in that region. So
okay.
They maybe did save a little bit of time there, but it also did take them quite a while to extricate that car from its precarious position there.
So looking down the inside, which will turn into the outside of the chase, but no, thinking better of it.
And a little bit deep there from Rainer. That's going to allow Luca Murray through, and may even let Dan Johnson through as well into that final corner. It does. So costly mistake there from Rainer Atherstad.
It's very easy to do though, isn't it? Just leave your braking just a touch late.
Yep, very, very easy to do there.
So that was great driving, putting the pressure on from Luca Murray. Well done. And very fortuitous for Dan Johnson. in that Ferrari to squeeze past Rayner. Although I'd imagine Rayner will be on the rear bumper of Dan Johnson fairly soon.
Yeah, I made a yellow flag there for Rhino Sullivan a minute ago, so I'm just trying to see what happened there. We're going to see the BMW ahead of him. Oh yeah, just a mistake there. Running into the back of the BMW, coming down through the S's.
Yeah, that's it's one of those sections that even if the car in front of you brakes more than you were expecting, a lot of the time there's not a lot you can do about it. You've got that overspeed. If you put the brakes on harder, you're going to end up in the wall.
Yeah, it's difficult. You got to really trust that the car in front is going to do what you're expecting them to do.
So back on the run down the hill with Wayne Athenstadt. Dan Johnson's extended the lead a touch actually over that lap. So yeah, Rayner has gone from P2 down to P4 in the space of a lap. And what that's also done obviously is extended that lead that Tom Venters has got in P1 at the moment. That is now up to 16 seconds. So
yep.
A fairly comfortable position for them to be in at the moment. They've got a 10-second time penalty to take in the pits. So all in all, still a 6 seconds lead over P2.
Yeah, and then they do seem to have the pace over the other cars so far in this race as well. They've been consistently in the mid to high 201s. Even I think their best laps are 201.2. So yeah, been going consistently in the 201s. No one else. Actually, yeah, Rayner Athenstadt's best lap is a 201.7. But yeah, everyone else pretty much behind them, mainly in the 202s or higher.
So Rayner obviously was just clearing the tyres maybe of the dirt that he got going off the track. He's down to a 1 second gap again. I think maybe that car is set up for top speed because he does seem to lose 0.4, 0.5 of a second across the mountain to Dan Johnson ahead. But then seems to gather it all up on the run down and up the mountain.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a tricky balance because you can gain or lose a lot of time over the mountain. But if you are able to stick with the car ahead of you and you've got lower wind levels on the straights, you obviously then gain massively as you're going down those straights. So it's always a bit of a tricky balance I think around here.
I don't know whether you've ever done GT4 racing around this track, Matt.
I have a little, yes.
So I particularly love the Ginetta and really adore it around this track.
Yep.
However, you're topped out in 6th gear before the crest on the back straight.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you can pull about 1.5 seconds on most people across the mountain, but then you lose about 1.4 seconds on the run down the hill.
Very, very similar to the Alpine that I've probably driven here the most. You can gain over like the likes of the BMW or the Aston Martin, probably even the McLaren. You can gain about 1 second, 1.2, 1.4 seconds over the mountain, but then you do tend to lose a lot going down the straight. So makes it difficult if you, as long as you can keep it clean, works out well. But if you have a bit of a mistake over the mountain and one of those cars gets up behind you, they're pretty much long gone as you go down the straight, and then it can be difficult to overtake them again.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun though. I think I might actually prefer GT4s around this track, just because of how mental they are. no downforce really to speak of. Just throwing it in. It's a lot of fun.
And the other good thing, I guess, with the GT4s is that because there's very little downforce on them anyway, if you do get a bit of damage, it has much less effect on the car than the GT3s. So GT3 is very dependent on that downforce. once you get a bit of damage on the front or the rear, especially, it can really upset that aero balance. Whereas the GT4s, not so much.
Yeah, very true. It's a very different beast driving down the mountain here in the GT4s. But if you've got the game and you've got the GT4 add-on, I would highly recommend it. But yes, I've never tried the Alpine around here actually. Maybe I should give it a go. But the Ginetta I can highly recommend. They don't seem to be anywhere near as dependent on setup either. The GT4s. I don't know whether that's just because I drive every car badly in the GT4 class, but the aggressive setups seem to work quite well. Certainly from my experience.
I mean, I like to dial them in a little bit, but yeah, I know what you mean. They're not. I think because there is so much less aero. If you've got a setup where the suspension and bump stops are working well, the little changes that you can do to the aero here and there don't make a huge difference.
So I've just noticed we've had a issue for the BMW.
Yeah, just jumping on board, just losing the rear as they go around Sulman Park, I believe that is. Turn 9.
Bit of a tank slapper. Rejoin's nice and safely though, so well done.
Yeah. Ryan O'Sullivan just unlapping himself moments ago against that BMW, so interesting to see if he can make much progress now that he's got past there.
And this is one of the few tracks, again, Matt, that, you know, when you hear that call, kind of yellow flag, accident ahead, it's one that you really do need to slow down for, isn't it? Look up, find out where the incident is if you've got the map on screen.
Oh, definitely.
Generally, on most tracks, you can pretty much ignore it, can't you? There's no penalties for driving fast through yellow flags in the game. But on this track, your penalty is a car.
The stewards sometimes look at it a bit unfavourably, but...
Well, only if you... Well, no, I'm not going to say that. If you've got live stewards, then yes, I totally understand that. We don't so much, pseudo. But certainly the penalty for not doing that on this track is generally meeting a car broadsides on the road.
Yeah, definitely. And similarly, we mentioned GT4s a minute ago. Have you ever done much multi-class racing around here?
No, I haven't. I've done multi-class on lots of tracks. I've never tried it here.
So multi-class around here, you've got to really... If you're in a GT3 and you're catching a GT4 over the mountain, you've got to really understand the gap that you've got behind them and how quickly you're going to catch them. Because if there's certain corners, certain higher speed corners over the top of the mountain that if you come around there and the GT4's they're going slower than what you're expecting, there's nowhere for you to go. Similar to, like you say, with yellow flags. So you got to really keep an eye on those gaps and make sure that if you do have a GT4 in front of you, you're lifting out of it well in advance to you getting to them.
Well, see, clearly, Matt, that you've got something that most of the GT3 drivers in mixed classes don't, because generally they just barge past you and fly straight up the inside as you're turning into a corner. I find generally that's the main problem with mixed class racing. GT3 drivers thinking they've got a right to fly past you at any particular moment, which is fun on some tracks, not so much here.
I get that, but then also I think sometimes it can be on the GT4s as well to understand that the GT3s are in a race as well, and you letting them have the inside line into a corner isn't going to cost you anywhere near as much time as if you're trying to fight them for 2 or 3 corners to not let them pass. So
nope, very true.
It takes both classes working together to really make things work.
Damien on Twitch has made a good point that losing time over the mountain is more down to confidence than setup. That's a fair point.
Very true.
That is a fair point. He should know. He crashes there often enough. Are you enjoying being in Twitch chat, Damien? Because I'm certainly enjoying you being in Twitch chat. Matt's been very nice to you, though. He's not insulted you once. That was your cue there, Matt.
No, I've got only good things to say about Damien.
You're such a kiss-ass, Matt. Let your hair down, Matt. This is the last race of the season. If you can't insult me now, Yes, you did, Damien. You did make it too easy. So, looking up at the timing boards, we have got a personal best on the last lap for Dan Johnson. Let's jump on board with him right now. Last lap, he did a 2:02.3. Very decent lap. As you saw his way up the mountain at the moment. He's 2.6 seconds behind Luca Mauri in the Porsche that we watched quite some time ago now. By the sound, it feels ages ago, but it's probably only about 5 laps ago. In the Porsche just ahead. 2 seconds back to Rainer Athenstadt, who unfortunately dropped from 2nd to 4th after running on a little at the chase. We have then got further 17 seconds back Mark Jones in the Lamborghini, and a further 10 seconds back from him Alessandro Murgia, also in a Lamborghini, and then a lap, no, not quite a lap, 1 minute and 20 seconds back we have got the Ferrari of Gregorelli, the BMW of Camuso, Ryan O'Sullivan in the Lamborghini, believe in the EOS Ferrari, and then bringing up the rear we have got the McLaren of Salah BTR. As I say his name, he goes flying off the track, I think, and hits the wall. So we'll have a quick look what happened there. So
yeah, it seems to have been quite a difficult race for the BTR team in that McLaren.
Oh yeah, it's just lost.
Luckily managing it to keep it out of the way of the lead car coming through behind them. Yeah, that's going to be another lengthy repair job, I'm afraid, for those guys.
So the nearest battle on track we've got is Rainer Athenstadt, 1.2 seconds behind Dan Johnson. We'll go on board with him for a second. So Damien is, as much as grief as I'm giving him on chat, he's still giving us some very good talking points. When you start going down still at Skyline, there are a few tenths to gain if you send it versus keeping it safe. Mostly, if not always, where I crash. That is very true, Damien. That's where I always look out for you. And that's just 2 corners out of many in section 2. Yeah, very true, Damien. I think Matt and I were talking about that just a little while ago. Playing it safe compared to pushing as hard as you can. Obviously, you're going to get
Rainer Athenstadt all over the back of Dan Johnson now, so I'm not quite sorry to cut you off there.
No.
Not quite sure if Dan made a bit of a mistake somewhere or what happened there, but yeah, half a second the gap between them now. Was 0.1 of a second when I cut you off.
Yeah, so it looks a bit. So Rainer was half a second faster on the last lap. So maybe it was just a slow lap. Maybe Dan's tyres are starting to wear a touch.
Look like he's in the slipstream here as they come down towards the chase.
Got this fast right, hard on the brakes. Looks like Rainer's just trying to let him know that he's there. So the right-hand corner where we've seen so many people lose the car so far this race. So again, Dan not feeling it necessary to cover the inside line.
Difficult overtaking point into that last corner unless you're well alongside going in there. It's not somewhere that you can really set it in there.
So this is where you want to get a nice setup, get the exit out of this corner nice and perfect. Ray's done a good job, although I don't think enough to get up alongside him up this hill.
Going up mountain straight, he's right in the slipstream again, but again not quite close enough to make the move. Another quite difficult overtaking place going into Quarry Corner there.
So into Quarry Mount, I've always found if you've got the inside line, that the person on the outside is always going to lose out. It gets very slippy because you've got quite a lot of camber on the inside of the corner.
Yeah.
So if you can get yourself alongside and you don't even have to outbrake the person in front of you or by the side of you.
sure. It's that getting alongside that's the difficult part of it, I guess.
That's true, and you still put in a lot of trust in that person, not just to turn it on you. So here we go, over Skyline, into this very fast downhill section. Oh, apparently the BMW of Camuso held Dan up a touch, which is what shrunk this gap.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter, for the comment in Twitch chat. Much appreciated. So
not always easy as a back marker over the mountain.
No, that's right. And so the blue flag rules in GT racing very different to what you might have seen on Sunday for the F1. If you are being lapped, as Wayne's got a really good run. Yeah, he's got the inside line, so as long as he can keep this nice and tidy, it's going to be difficult for Dan. Oh yeah, Dan. So Dan dropped the place, although he's not letting Rayner go by any stretch of the imagination. But he's just dropped back maybe to try and get a good exit. But Rayner's done the same. That was a good overtake by Rayner.
Yeah, really good overtake there, and it kind of goes to show what we were saying earlier. Looks like the this number 11 car with Rayner and Morton in there looks like they've got it set up a lot more for straight line speed, which obviously helped them out there. They do still have that 15-second success penalty, courtesy of winning last week's race to take at the pit stop. So, although they're battling now, realistically, they're going to drop 15 seconds back from the number 23 car in the pit stop.
So they'll only drop one place, assuming all pit stops are equal length. They'll come out probably a couple of seconds ahead of Mark Jones, back in 5th.
Yep.
Yeah, still a good overtake, but you're right, it's he needed to be a touch further down the road to secure the position. He's up behind a back marker now. So I was just about to talk about the blue flag rules. So if you are being lapped in GT racing, you do not have to yield, you do not have to jump out of the way of a car. It's generally advisable to let them past, but it's certainly not necessary. But what you can't do is defend your line, drive in an unusual manner, and block any overtake attempt. So that's what that car did there by the looks of it. Very frustrating, I'm sure, if you are Rayner Atherstad with another car behind you, but there's just not very many places to get by on the mountain.
No, that's the thing, and we have these rules in place for GT racing. I would say over the mountain, there's just nowhere to overtake. So it's not necessarily that you might see cars and it looks like they're defending. It's not. It's more that there's only really one line through that mountain section. So not easy to let a car, even if you purposely move offline and try to let a car through, there's not really very many places to do that, and obviously no obligation to do it either. So it's very much, if you are unlucky, you catch a back marker as you go into this corner here, into Quarry Corner. You then pretty much have to follow them all the way through until you get out of the dipper and onto the Conrad Straight.
That's right, and maybe actually moving across on the mountain is possibly the worst thing you could do, because the car behind you is not going to expect it. This track is difficult enough to stay on track while you're on the right line, so you put yourself off that right line, you're probably going to crash as well. So yeah, it's tricky, and weirdly, a touch like Alton Park in that kind of respect, that there's just that one line, and if you're defending a car behind you, it makes defending very easily, but if you're getting lapped, it makes letting that car behind you past very difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're go on, continue, Matt.
I'd say it looks like they're safely through now on that back marker, and a clear track ahead. So through all of that, it does look like they've dropped back a little way from Luca Murray, so the gap now between P2 and 3 just over 7 seconds. So Luca Murray looking very good for a solid result currently sitting in P2 in that number 306 ELC Sports Racing Porsche.
That's right. So I had just jumped on board back with the BMW because I thought they were very close to the back of Alessandro Murgia, but that I think they might have had an incident as I jumped to them. I think they've dropped back quite a few seconds. Closest on track battle is still Dan Johnson behind Rainer Athersat. Just to let you know that the leader Tom Venters is now 21 seconds in the lead. So for
21, but net 11 seconds in after the success penalty.
That's very true.
Still a healthy gap.
And for the team that realistically just had to finish the race to secure the championship lead, that's good going.
Also, I would say, because you hear this in some series as well, that yet to pick up a victory in the season, so maybe wanting to... Ooh, Rainer Athenstadt just losing it there, going up the mountain.
Let's jump on board, see what happens there. So it's come through the hairpin, what I call Bull's Corner.
Just clipping the inside wall there.